Hey everybody, Ben Ferrari, Pilot Studios. It's Thursday. Went to the comic book store today, got a couple things, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. I was kind of debating on what I would talk about because I'm enjoying putting these videos out, talking comics, and I thought I would just start talking about my Extreme Studios experience. I'm 50 years old right now. It's 2026. I was 18 in 1994, graduated high school. In high school, I went to a church called EV Free Brea, Evangelical Free, and Rob Liefeld was a youth leader. He had a group of boys, and I was in another group, and I met him through that, and had some conversations with him at church. It was a very exciting time. This must have been, well, it was 1994, later on, but early on, I was probably 92-ish. New Mutants was coming out, so maybe it was even 91. New Mutants by Rob Liefeld was extremely exciting in high school. It was new, it was different. He was doing something full of energy. I loved it. It was an exciting time. I remember when New Mutants 99, or was it 100, when 100 came out, you know, with the sort of purple issue 100 in the background and all the characters jumping out at you. It was awesome. And eventually, I ended up asking Rob for a tour of the studio because I knew he was right there in Fullerton, with Marat Michaels and maybe Dan Frega. And, you know, I talked to him a few times. I remember he was walking after church to his car, and I happened to drive by him, and I stopped, and I said, hey, you know, could I get a tour? And he said, sure. And that led to a job at Image Comics. Image was literally next door, off Catella Avenue in Anaheim. And Extreme Studios and Image Comics were right next door to each other. So somehow I finagled myself into a job as a kind of a gopher, you know, answering mail, doing all kinds of random things at Image Comics. Had a really good time. San Diego Comic-Con was a month or two after getting that job, and I was there with Image Comics, and Rob said, I am going to take you over to Extreme Studios. I guess I had proven that I wasn't a worthless pile. And I said, cool. So for 2 years, give or take, I spent at Extreme Studios as an assistant editor to Matt Hawkins, running FedEx, helping keep track of books, art, letters, everything, proofing colors, proofing advertisements. And I just absolutely had a blast. That was 2 years worth of time, and I would go after my shift. I would stay actually in the bullpen. A bullpen is just a vast room full of tables. You know, you had all the artists, pencilers, inkers, letterers, colorists, guys doing color guides. You had editors, you had assistant editors, including myself. Everybody was there, and everybody would come in sort of different schedules, but most people during the day, and then some people at night. But I would stay after my shift. That's how amazing this job was. And I would draw. I had my own comics, and I would be practicing. And it was amazing. I learned to make comic books during that time, and I will always appreciate Rob for that, for giving me that chance. And I got all kinds of fun stories about my time there, and I'd love to tell you about them. I consider this sort of the first of a series of stories about my time at Extreme Studios. It was about 2 years. It ended at some point. I'll go into the details on how in the future. But you won't find my name in any books. There was another assistant editor named Tom, and his name showed up in there. Was it a squeaky whale situation? I couldn't tell you, but No one will deny that I worked there. It just so happens that they didn't think to put my name in the books. Maximum Press was my main thing. That was where Matt Hawkins was editor-in-chief. But anyway, best time of my life. I'm 50 years old, still making comics based on what I learned at Extreme Studios. These are some pages that I'm currently working on for my Kanan the Marauder book. All that to say that I can't wait to tell you more about it, and I'm looking forward to it.